my people. It's been a hot little minute. I am back up in, I guess what we would call the shop. Currently right now, as you can see, what we have on the table is a Nintendo Gamecube. I will tell you, I enjoy working on Nintendos because, to be honest with you, they're quite simple. I will tell you, because I know y'all want to get to the business, because that's what we're going to do. I'll let you know that the issue that this, or the symptoms I should say, that this Nintendo GameCube is displaying is, it's not reading discs. It powers on, absolutely fine, what we're going to see in a second. Couple diagnostics things. I'm trying to get better at diagnosing and showing you guys kind of my process and walking through. Here and again, I'm still learning as well. So I'm going to do this how I would normally do a vehicle. So let's get right to it. So first thing I want to check, of course you check the power, that's good, but our concern is the fact that it's not reading the disc. So strong possibility something may be going on with the laser. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you guys that it powers on. First, just for us to get a better view and better look, I'm going to put you guys up on top here, and we're going to get right down to it, my people. First things first, I do have it, the power cord in, but I'm going to take it out for a second. I will tell you, we're going to go ahead and take the lid off of this thing. I have already taken the bolts out. However, you will need to take out the bolts. There are 4 corner bolts that are the unique bit pieces for Nintendo consoles. So if you don't have it, you want to get you one. And this one does have a digital AV out. You can tell there are some different model that does not. I learned that some time ago. As you can tell with the lid here, opens and closes properly. Does need to be cleaned, and to which I will do so. The lid looks pretty good, so we're going to set that off to the side. Now, oftentimes, what happens when, especially we're talking about this and how it's reading, you normally sometimes you'll have an issue with these 2 little, I forgot what you want to call these things, but a switch, we'll call it a switch. They actually operate separate, but you would have to hold both of these down for this to start operating and spinning. That's basically how it functions. So first thing we want to do, we want to check to see whether or not our disk drive is actually, or the laser is moving. If it's not moving, sometimes that can be a reflection of a motor issue, but we're going to power this on, and we're going to see. And I don't like my cords here, you guys. So we're going to see whether or not our laser is actually moving. Sometimes, too, you can put a disc on here. And when I say moving, we want to make sure this thing is spinning. First thing I'm going to do, too, just like I said, it could be a motor issue. This will spin at the same time that the laser is moving, but for the purposes of you guys seeing this, like I said, hold this 2 down. This will be your power button, power it on. We see if this thing spins. Now you do hear the laser moving. However, I'm not seeing a spin. Reset that. And what I'll do, let's power it off. Like to try to get this down here toward the bottom area. Oftentimes, make sure get both of those. Now I can see in here our laser moving. Guys, don't look directly into that, but it does seem like we're not getting some spin. So could be an issue for us, maybe not. We shall see. So let's power it back off and unplug it. Take your power out. Now there's some other things that can happen. Laser can get burned up. However, I'm going to take a major guess to think that we're probably having, which is normal for these GameCubes after a while, we're probably having a variable resistor or potentiometer issue. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is start our disassembly. There are about 5 bolts on this side that would have to be taken out. As you can tell, mine is already taken out. This front would also have to come off. Be careful in taking this off, simply because there's a ribbon that you don't want to mess up. Can detach that ribbon so that we make sure we're not damaging it. Like I said, guys, it is quite a little dusty up in here. We'll set our pieces off to the side. Also, you will end up taking 1, 2, 3, 4 these out to lift this, simply because these are just metal pieces that need connections. You also then take off your back panel, which is just a plastic piece that comes off. Then you have a total of 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, what? Yeah, sorry. 4 bolts on the back end. I've taken out 3. Got 1 more bolt that's hiding up underneath the power outlet. Then on this side, you have to take your fan off. You have a bolt there. I've taken that out. But these 2 actually have to come off prior to taking this 1 bolt back here, because you want to get this loose, okay? That power source. So let's go ahead and take that bolt out. And as you can tell, guys, I got all my bolts set to the side over here. And to be honest with you, I just did this for a quicker service, guys. I'm trying to not have my videos so lengthy. I like to set all my stuff over here. As you can tell, this wire or this plastic piece comes off the fan. Then you have 1, 2, 3 bolts there. All right. And what I'll probably go ahead and do, I'll wait to take the wires out from there, because I think they both will just come off the same instead of just taking my top fan wires out. And basically, guys, what we're trying to get down to, where the laser and the motherboard stuff will be. So you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here in a second. And don't forget that 1 bolt back there on the back end that was up underneath the power outlet. Right. So we have that. Go back to the front so that I can take these out. Now, as I start dealing with the motherboard, I am going to go smaller on my Phillips, because all these are Phillips head bolts. Just simply, it makes things easier for spacing. Matter of fact, let's do that now. If you got fat fingers and can't grab that, a tweezers will work out well for you as well. I got little fingers, so which a lot of times when I'm working on vehicles, it really works out to my advantage. Getting in tight places, because I got small hands. I've been fighting my vehicle here recently. Might have to give you guys a little update on that at a later date. Alright, so at this point, we can lift up our laser. I'm going to put 1 screw up this end. And 1 screw on the furthest end. And so you guys can get up close and see, here is that potentiometer. Okay. So what our goal is in dealing with the potentiometer, we want to adjust adjust this potentiometer. But first, before doing so, because basically it's what helps power the laser, before doing so, however, we need to measure it. There are 3 legs on this side of it and 1 on this side. I'll show you exactly how we do that with the multimeter. Now, some folks call it a multimeter, multometer, whatever floats your boat. One of these things. So what I want to do is, so you guys can still see that this is in view as well. You see the numbers on here. You want to set this to the resistance or ohms. Ohm setting. I'm just gonna crank mine up to 2K because I'm quite sure whatever it is ain't going above 2K. But basically we are going to measure what our exact resistance is right now before making the adjustments. And you want to notate that, because what you don't want to do is go too high with the resistance or too low. So if you know where it's at right now to where it is not working, yes, but you have a reference point. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to place it on this one side, and there's 3 legs on this side. Where you're placing it is the lower leg. Okay, sorry, get my hands out of the way. So what we have currently right now, guys, get my fingers together, is currently reading 0.269 for us. Now, that is not necessarily a bad reading, because you want to be between 200. I think it's in between 200 to I think maybe like 4 something. But what it is telling you is, and maybe that's why we're not getting a spin as well, it's just simply too low. Okay, so what we can do, and also too, guys, if you wanted to, you could actually put the ground in the middle and still check your measurement, which we're still reading around 269 to 0.269 or 270. All right, so our goal, or my goal for this, I'm probably going to try to get around 430-ish. I don't want it too high, but I also don't want it too low. Okay, so what you can take is a Phillips, a small bit, or for more control, if you got a little small Phillips screw, you can do that as well. You don't necessarily have to be on top of it while adjusting it, as far as like measuring, but this is what you need to bear in mind. You don't want to rotate this to raise it up in numbers. You want to go clockwise, which will be this way, like a clock. If you need it to go down, though, and back the potentiometer down, you would need to go counterclockwise. All right, lefty loosey, righty tighty, in other words, for all my mechanics out there. All right, do not turn this thing, like, just baby steps, guys, baby steps. So what I'm going to do, I just got it set to where I could make sure that all the heads are in. And I'm going to turn this thing, barely turning it. So now let's measure and see where we are. Just that small turn, guys. I'm at 345, okay? That's why you do not want to over crank this thing, okay? Now, I want to go a little bit more. I feel better if I'm over 400. I got it sitting again. All right. Baby turns, guys, baby turns. So now where are we? And I'm just trying to make sure my pen's not slipping off, guys, because you don't want to stab this board. All right, 363. If you want to come off of it just to make sure and measure it again. I'm still around 363, so I want to turn it a little bit more. All right, where are we? So at this point, looks like we're at 452 or 450. I'm gonna sit right there, guys. Now, worst case scenario, I have to back it down slightly, maybe. I think we're in a good area, so I don't want to mess with it anymore, okay? So let's get this thing thrown back together really quick to a point where it's operable and it won't mess up. You'll have to put like one screw into certain places, but just enough to where ain't stuff shaking loose and all of that jazz, okay? And I'll show you guys what I did here in a second. All right, peeps. I got everything connected up. We got the power cord here, got our AV out cord. I am going to go ahead and grab a little IPA really quick because we had that lens down on that cloth. I am going to give it a slight little clean just to make sure we're not having any issues. Oop. We're going to go ahead and pop our disc on because I'm working with one hand. Like I said, I got a bolt here on the side. I got a bolt here for this because that's my power thing on there. I need it to be a little bit sturdy. And we are going to hold this down and power this on and see what we get, guys. That laser is moving. It's going to give us any love. Hold on, guys. I may not have it on the right out and input, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Really? You must first set your calendar. Alright, so guys, went ahead, plugged in the controller. Alright, we hear it moving. However, we are not getting any spin, folks. No spinach. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, let's go back to the table. Alright, guys, so went back to the drawing board. I actually ended up bringing my potentiometer down. I brought it down to 208. We're going to test that out and see what happens. Because I still wasn't getting a spin on here. So we will see. Going ahead and loading it up. We'll place the disc on. And there we go. We got a spin, guys. We got a spin. Now, is it going to read? Because it looks like we got to slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. So there's a possibility we may need to take it down a little bit more. That's what it's looking like. Looking like we may need to take it down a little bit more, guys. However, we are getting that spin. So instead of taking it upward like I was taking it, I'm going to come down just a tad bit more. I'm going to probably come down to maybe a little under 200. So let's break this back down. We see what's what. All right, peeps. We're going to go back on this again. And we're going to get our read on once more. I'm going to try to be able to see this angle here so you can read what I'm reading. We did take it down. We backed it down versus bringing it up. We did back it down. Right now we're sitting it's giving me a pretty big jump, so I'm trying to make sure I measure this accurately. At 194-ish. So we're gonna back this down just a tad bit more, y'all. Change my bit quick. One that fits. I mean, just a hair. There we go. Let's see what we got. All right, we're at 152. Let's button this baby back up. Let's see what happens. All right. Now we are getting some spin on it. Let's go ahead and I'm actually going to wait to put that on. Power it on. As you see, we are getting power. Go ahead and put our disc on. We are getting our spin. Let's see if we get a read. Getting plenty of spin, guys. Don't like we getting a read. Oh, there we go. My bad. Alright, so does look like we're getting a read. We're gonna press start. We get to see this baby work. So guys, definitely a potentiometer. We don't have a save whatever in, but as you can tell, this baby is working. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We got this thing here all one and done. I'm gonna go ahead and button it back up. I will test it one more time without it being loose, but as you guys can tell, it works. It definitely works. We got in here Harry Potter, the Goblet of Fire. There you go. Awesome. I appreciate you guys come hanging out. It's Pulse Customs and Repair here with you. Guys, I'm going to try to do what I can to keep it coming. I just like to try to help you guys out, see what's what with what. Anything else you may have questions about, please do not hesitate to let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video, guys. Please like and share and subscribe. I get with you. Peace.